So the message for us today is pretty simple, but it's also pretty nuanced. So I'll say it straight out and then we can unpack it a little bit. The message all the way from the prophet Isaiah to the mouth of Jesus himself is people should be able to tell that we believe in God just by how we live our lives. Simple as that. And now that the Christ has come, they should be able to tell that we're Christians, that we're practicing Catholics by the way that we live our regular lives. I think we know that. Salt of the earth, light of the world, don't put it under a bushel basket. Like, these are some of the most quoted things that Jesus says. But here's what I find more and more interesting the more that I study Scripture. And you're never done studying Scripture. There are no neutral details in the Scriptures. There's nothing neutral. Everything that Jesus says, he says with incredible precision. There are no wasted words. So when he says that the light of our faith in him should go on a lampstand, not under a bushel basket, he's not just saying, live your faith in me in a visible way and don't hide it. He is saying that, absolutely. But that's not all that he's saying. Here's the nuanced part. To get to the deeper meaning, we have to know what the people listening to Jesus knew. Info that was just kind of like part of their daily lives and that are not part of our daily lives anymore, usually. Mainly what one would do with a bushel basket and a lampstand. The lampstand, kind of self-explanatory. You put a lamp on it. But the bushel basket is not something we encounter very often. Jesus could have said, don't put your light under fill in the blank, like any number of objects. But he precisely chose this object, and there's something there for us. So a bushel basket is a measuring container for grain. Wheat, barley, some kind of seed, but it's a measuring container. And it was absolutely critical if you were harvesting or even scattering grain in your fields. So the people listening to Jesus would have heard bushel basket and thought livelihood, something that is commonly and constantly used to sustain life. And that's the point. A bushel basket is good. It's a good thing that does good things so that you can live. He didn't say, don't put your light under some weird bowl the Romans used to burn their incense to their pagan gods in, like something intrinsically bad. He purposefully chose something good as the object that could block his light. What that means for us is he's trying to draw our attention to the fact that most of the time, it's not going to be overtly evil things that tempt us away from living our faith in a visible way. Sometimes it will be, but those are easier to spot. Most of the time, it's going to be ordinary, common, even necessary things. This is where we begin to mature in the spiritual life when we notice this. Could be work, could be school, hobbies, watching shows, building a better portfolio, things that are good. Those things are good, but things that can become distractions if we let them. If we overfocus on the things of this world that occupy our time, then the eternal, it's just not going to be on our minds, right? Because we're so dialed in, we're so focused in to the things of this world. It's eternal things not going to be on our minds. And if those things aren't on our minds, then he who is the light is not on our mind. And if he's not on our mind, then we probably won't be in consistent dialogue with him and prayer as much or at all. And that's what we're called to as Christians, as Catholics. St. Paul says it, pray without ceasing. So people should be able to tell that we have Jesus within us just by living our lives, doing whatever we're doing. And one big way that they can tell that is that we're not over-focused on the things that they're over-focused on. Have you ever been in a situation like that where like everybody is like looking at something? I remember driving past like a group of people once, and they were all on the side of the road just like staring at this elk. And the elk was just staring back at them. But I was driving, like I couldn't just, stop and stare at the elk. So my attention was different than their attention. Imagine if you were in that group and everybody was staring at the elk and you were just staring at something else that you liked. Everybody notices. They just notice when our attention is drawn in a different direction. This is what the Lord is talking about. So those things in this world, great. We do those things, we use those things, we enjoy what's good, but it's clear just from being around us that it's not about that for us. It's clear in how we talk, how we conduct ourselves, how we interact, and how we use the goods of this world, whatever those goods are, that all of it, for us, is about Jesus.